Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA episode 382. I am Brendan. Let's talk about some fights. UFC Fight Night, Holobaugh versus Nguyen. This is going to be the prelims. So, Kurt Holobaugh, Trey, Ogden. We're going to break down that fight. We're going to break down all the fights on the prelims, round by round, talk about them. If you like this kind of stuff, subscribe to the channel. That way, the next video is coming out. I'd appreciate it. It helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. Let's go. All right, Kurt Holobaugh taking on Trey Ogden. Kurt Holobaugh coming off of his win, making his way back to the UFC, winning the last season of The Ultimate Fighter. Yeah, man, he's really got to work on his get up. I don't think he's totally washed. I don't think that he can't make it in this division. I think he can. I think there's things that he can do that can stop this from happening. But man, anybody who saw this should know going forward, this is how I win. All right, Holobaugh was pushing him to the fence, using the right hand, the low kicks, keeping Ogden on the back foot, and then Ogden shot for a takedown, spend the whole round on top, 4 minutes and 12 seconds of control time. Now, I just talked about this in my last video. The difference between this one and the last one is Holobaugh, Ogden was actually doing stuff on top to maintain that position. They were actively fighting back and forth, and this brings up a different argument. I just made it in the last video, but if the person on bottom just sits there, they have a better chance of getting it stood back up than if they actively try to get their guard back. That's dumb. That's dumb. That means that you have a problem in your subjective judging criteria and your reffing criteria. That's dumb. If I do more work on bottom, that means we're going to stay here. That's stupid. Ogden doing a good job mixing things up, going low inside, the lead hook, the 1-2, the outside, even he's doing everything, even as he backs up. He's landing them all over the place, doing really well. Holobaugh lands a hard right hand, the low kick, but then he's still taking a ton of points in return because he's just not throwing the same amount of volume out there. And then Ogden sweeps out the leg in the clinch, gets to the ground, and that's the rest of the round. He outstruck him 26-20 in this round. And he spent, 3 minutes? 2 minutes and 52 seconds on top in this round. Clearly his round. Last round here. Holobaugh presses forward, lands a good shot, but then gets taken down, and that's the whole fight. Not a whole lot to break down on this main event. There wasn't a whole lot of offense off his back. There wasn't a lot of getting up. There wasn't a lot of anything. It was just take him down, hold him there, land some shots, and he wasn't able to get back up. I think that the onus is on the fighter on the bottom to get back up, and in this case, with the person on top being active enough, that's how it goes. Ricardo Ramos taking on Julian Erosa. Ramos with the nice low kicks, landing big with the right hands. Ramos drops Erosa. If you didn't watch this one, spoilers, obviously, go watch this. If you were interested at all in these fights, before I talk about it, go watch this fight. Ramos versus Erosa. Go watch it. It's a good moment. There's some good fights on the prelims too. So I mean they're decent. All right, you back? Okay. Nobody went to fucking go watch it. Ramos drops Erosa for a second, but Erosa just does not quit on himself. They get up. Ramos right in for the takedown. Erosa finishes him with the guillotine. Immediately jumps on that guillotine, locks it up, and forces Ramos to fucking quit. That's incredible. Obviously a comeback for him. Took a big shot in there. A couple big shots in there. Could have been finished. A lot of other people would have quit. And he just did enough work, man. He must have done enough work in the gym to, keep his wits about him like that. That's a lot of heart. Throwing word salad out there. Miles Johns versus Cody Gibson. This okay fight. It's okay. It's not the most exciting moment to moment. A little sloppy. Gibson keeping the pressure on. Johns able to stay on top for a little bit after an unbalanced clash. Neither guy landing anything big. Johns landed more and having control. He outlanded him 5-4. Had that control time. That's what made the difference in the first round. Like I said, not a whole lot of action in this fight. Second round, Gibson gets a single leg Single leg up, uses it to press at the cage, but that's all. Doesn't really do anything with it. Johns lands an uppercut as Gibson ducks. Gibson fights hard for a single leg, uses it to get to the ground, gets to the back. Johns fights out of back control, gets some of his own. When they stand up, he's landing some really good shots. Gibson just did not land enough damage. He got outstruck here, 11-2. Yeah, he had that back control, but he got out controlled even in this round, 154 to 136. Gibson just didn't do enough. 20-18. Last round, Gibson keeps shelling up and turning away. Gibson is trying to chase him down, but just doesn't have the slick striking to find the mark or avoid the damage coming back at him, right? Like, even if he does find the mark, he's getting countered. Johns desperate for a takedown, happy to get in the clinch. Johns was tired and did look kind of crappy in this last round. Gibson just doesn't have what it takes at the highest level. And to be honest, neither does Johns. I had it 30-27. If you gave this last round to Gibson, I totally understand. We can go take a look at the official scorecards here. Oh, yeah. All three judges gave it 30-27. Chris Lieben, Saul Diamato, Jacob Montalvo. Bet. Those are fine. That's how I scored it. I totally understand it. Makes sense. I don't think Johns looked particularly good in this fight, and I think Gibson might have been fighting for his UFC career. I hate to say it. I'd still like to see him fight somebody. Maybe not. I'd still like to see him get one more fight. Let's put it that way. Jarno Errens versus Stephen Nguyen. Now this, my friends, 'twas a banger. Technical striking, a little bit of sloppy in there, but not a ton. Most of it was really technical striking and lots of damage. All right, Nguyen was using that hard low kicks, taking one to the gut. Errens finding the hard right hands to the body, and then up top as he cleans. He's got these clean ass combos landing when he's in boxing range. Errens had some slick boxing. Errens landing that right hand to the body so freaking hard, and the uppercut bust went up. Jarno picked it up after the first minute, really putting some damage on him. I mean, that first minute of the fight, I thought for sure, Nguyen was gonna be able to outpoint him, probably catch something, hit him hard, bust up his leg, knock him out. Nope. Went the complete opposite way. 39-21 for striking numbers for Errens in that first round. You got to give him that round, even if that first minute looked bad for him. There's 4 more minutes in that first round. Nguyen using that jab to counter the pressure, and they're landing really stiff early on. But then, Nguyen starts having issues with that front foot. All those leg kicks did a ton of damage. Errens drops him with the right hand after the clinch break. Holy shit, he just a ton of damage. 33-22 for striking numbers in favor of Errens. No control time, none needed. Lots of damage. Errens gets dropped for something, but I can't really see what it was in this third round. Nguyen can't capitalize on it because his left leg is totally trash. Couldn't apply a lot of pressure to it. Couldn't put pressure into him on the ground. They end up standing back up. Errens lands a left hook that puts him down again because that leg can't hold him up, and that's just a bad look. Even if you trip, when you stumble after getting hit, it's never, unless, I don't know a moment where you can play it completely off as a trip. Obviously, there's times where that happens, but if you get hit and then your hands touch the mat, boy, it's just not look good. It doesn't look good, right? In a close fight where that's the difference maker, now we can have like a fun technical argument. This is not what happened here. Nguyen taking an ungodly amount of damage in this round and just still keeps walking him down. Holy shit, the guy looked like the goddamn Terminator, just taking a ton of damage and walking forward, but he did take a ton of damage. 33-20 in this last round. A good fight, fun fight. Definitely go watch this if you didn't. I had 30-27 in favor of Errens. That's what I think all three judges also gave it 30-27. Yes, they did. Excellent. All right. Montserrat Rendon versus Daria Zhelezniakova. That's how you pronounce it. Zhelezniakova. Her shorts don't have the L and E on there. Zhelezniakova. That's how you pronounce it. Yeah. The L and E were gone on her shorts for some reason. I don't know if they were cut because of like space, or it was just weird. It just said Zhelezniakova, not Zhelezniakova. Anyway, Daria is finding the mark with the right hand straight away as Rendon leaves her head on center. Rendon Is it Rendon or Rendon's? Now I don't remember. Rendon gets a clinch and the body lock to the ground, but nothing doing. Rendon ends the round with the takedown, but again, no damage. Daria just didn't do much either. Neither one of them landed a ton of damage on here. Zhelezniakova did land more damage, 10-6, but it's a close round. I thought 2 minutes and 23 seconds of control time. I did not think the damage was so much in favor of Zhelezniakova. I gave it to Rendon for this first round. Second round, Rendon is particularly awful on the feet, and Daria is able to land the jab and the 1-2, and then using the uppercut and the takedown defense. Daria grabs the fence to prevent the takedown. She did it multiple times in this fight, did not get a point deducted for it. Rendon ends the round with pressure and some small clinch damage. Just not enough. I mean, neither girl did a ton of damage. Neither woman did a ton of damage here. 24-14 in favor of Zhelezniakova. Not a lot of control time for Rendon. You can give this to Zhelezniakova. Last round here. If you gave this one to Rendon, I kind of get it. This one was hard. Neither one of them was landing damage, and that was when it was really difficult to score. This fight's a skipper for sure. Rendon running after her, holding on, but not doing anything with it. Daria ends the fight with 4 spinning back fists in a row. Really bad to watch, but she did outland her 23-5. This was her round. I had a 29-28 in favor of Zhelezniakova. If you had it the other way, I totally understand. Looking at the scorecards here. Let's see. Saul D'Amato gave the second round to Rendon. I totally understand. All 3 judges had it 29-28 in favor of Zhelezniakova, but they did vary on where they get. All 3 of them gave the last round to Zhelezniakova. Mike Bell and Junichiro Kamijo gave that second round to Zhelezniakova. Again, that's fine. That's a fine scorecard. Saul D'Amato gave that second round to Rendon. I get it. That first round, on the other hand, though, Saul D'Amato, buddy, he must have had a bad night. That's 2 cards I've seen from him that are kind of unacceptable. Maybe he saw something. Maybe he thought Zhelezniakova. You know what? I'm not gonna harp on him for this one. Maybe Zhelezniakova. He saw something from her. Maybe she landed something hard, or it appeared to land hard from his point of view. I'll give him a pass on that one. Again, there wasn't a ton of damage, so it's hard to say like, oh, for sure, this is a horrible card. I don't agree with it. Igor Severino versus Andre Lima. Boy, this is a first for me. The first one like in recent history for sure. Spoiler alert also for this, but if you saw the thumbnail, you know how this one ends. Lima is ending the combos with a hard low kick. Severino putting the pressure on, working for the takedown mid combo. Lima gets up, finds his way to offense. This fight was actually a banger. Then he jumped guillotine, uses an omoplata, but then they get back up. Omoplatas are only good. I don't think anybody ever finishes omoplatas, even in jiu-jitsu anymore. There's some really good videos on why that happens. It's good for sweeps, but that's about it. They exchange step-in elbows, and Lima gets the better of it, but then they recover, and then it's back to swinging away. Close round with tons of action. I'd go for Lima for rocking him. So I had Lima up here. Severino did outstrike him 22-16. I gave it to Lima because I felt like he rocked Severino, but it was close round. Severino still refuses to take a back step. Severino gets a little eye poke in here. That is not how the fight ends. Lima landing a huge knee to the head, but Severino again still keeps moving forward. Lima keeps grabbing the fence and then gets so sloppy. This fight got really sloppy. There was fence grabs, there was eye pokes, and then Lima's pointing to his arm and saying something like he's pointing to his arm like this. He's going like he keeps pointing at it. Like they're both Brazilian, so he wasn't saying it in English. The fight ends because Severino fucking bit him. He bit his arm. He bit him. What the fuck? What is this? Oh my god. That's got to be one of the weirdest ways for a fight to end, especially in recent memory. He got DQ'd. Severino keeps saying no, I didn't. But clearly he bit him. There was you saw the picture in the thumbnail. There were clearly teeth marks on him. So stupid. Dumb way to lose a fight, man. All right. talk about this one. Mohammed Usman versus Mick Parkin. Mick Parkin undefeated. Mohammed Usman undefeated in the UFC. Lots of excitement about this heavyweight matchup from the commentary. Could have been because it was the first fight, but it seemed like they really believe in both of these guys. Usman keeps trying the jab to the body, but Parkin's countering with the right hands. Usman looking hesitant on everything that he does. He moves in every time he moves in, he gets countered. Usman landing a flurry and backs Parkin up, but Parkin just fires back at him. A lot of standing around and single shots getting put out there. Usman landed some more of those in this first round. So 16 to 15 in favor of Parkin, but I felt like Usman did land the bigger shots in this first round. I gave it to him. 10-9. The low kicks are there all day for Parkin. Usman keeps going to the body. Usman just not finding the mark on the head strikes this round, and Parkin is still landing those right hands. Parkin's volume and decent shots gets him this round. I had him outstriking him. He did 20-18. No control time, nothing like that. I felt like his strikes were good. Good mix going everywhere. 9 to the head, 2 to the body, 9 to the legs. Usman was landing to the body quite a bit, but those, they weren't so hard. Like those shots weren't that hard in a closer fight. I think those would make a difference, but I didn't feel like that was a super close round. Competitive, but not super close. Usman winds up so big with his shots that it gives Parkin a full second to react to him. Neither guy has landed anything crazy, but Parkin's finding the mark with better shots. In this last round, it was just all him. Usman hobbled by that leg kick and then responds with the right hand, but Parkin lands his own. Usman swings all over the place, but then he landed 5 good shots this whole round. It says 36-24, but if you go back, there was only really 5 or maybe 6 really good shots for Usman. Parkin outlanded him quite a bit. Lots of really good shots from him. I had a 29-28 in favor of Parkin. I think that was all 3 judges as well. Mike Bell, Adelaide Bird, and Saul D'Amato all saw it the same way. Yep. Usman he's like, what? Pulling it. I know he's not going to watch this, and I know nobody who knows him is going to watch this, so who gives a shit what I say? Like, who cares about some idiot talking about fights like on the internet? Who cares? Just a bit of advice from a very hardcore UFC fan. There's a reason why Kamaru Usman's title run or his run to the title, his title reign aren't as appreciated by a lot of the fans. And a lot of it has to do with his fake attitude. Same with Tyron Woodley, right? If he was more you don't have to be, a kiss ass. You don't have to be somebody that you're not. But you shouldn't be someone that you're not. That's the biggest part here. But then this whole putting on a show after the fight, acting like, oh, what? Oh, come on. Like, you can be upset about it. I get that. And this is the first time I've seen him lose in the UFC, so we'll see what happens going forward. But if this becomes a trend, again, just a bit of advice, I would stop it now, lest you lose the fans that you already don't have. You know what I mean? I think Usman has a ton of potential, but potential doesn't mean anything unless you put it into action. So, all right, that is it. Let me know what you guys thought about the card. How do you feel about biting? You guys a fan of biting? Appreciate y'all. If you guys could, I'd appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. It would let YouTube know that people actually watch this stuff. It lets you know when the next video is coming out. I'd appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Have an amazing week. Love y'all.